day. As the camel says, what day is it? Whoop, whoop. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Wednesday, November 20th. I slept all of like an hour last night, but I had some maple syrup this morning. I chugged it like it was a drink right out of the bottle. Love that stuff. No, I didn't, but it was in my my overnight oats. So we're going to go over Bitcoin, MicroStrategy. We're going to go over a lot. Guess who sponsored the NASDAQ yesterday? It was Trendspider. Trendspider's new AI stuff is phenomenal. Alpha Picks, we'll go over that because Alpha Picks had a sale yesterday. And I just want to explain the rules-based process. So we're going to show that. We're going to go over 5 things you should do in your retirement account before the end of the year. The biggest stock movers, including POWL, Keys, whatever. JP Morgan has a list. We're going to go over Microsoft's event yesterday, which includes a couple of things. Nuclear, we're going to go over that. Earnings. I called it yesterday, POWL. I'll show you why I thought that POWL was going to do poorly and why I'm not out of POWL. Target is what it is. It took the whole retail sector down, but it just shot down. And then we're going to go over NVDIA and we'll go over the social request. But NVIDIA is the big thing of the day. We'll go over that at the end. I'll go give you my thoughts about it. I most likely will go live on Substack. So if you're not a member of Substack, go down here to the Daily Stock Big newsletter. It's free. Just sign up for it. It is free, and I'm going to go on there live, not on YouTube live. I'll be on Substack live. So answering your questions, you can ask me any question that you want, but it's going to be around 4 o'clock. So subscribe to the newsletter, and then look for that email alert for when I go live. So let's look at the cues. It didn't get you back in. You're just the market's waiting for everything. We'll go over a summary of everything that happened. There's a great Twitter summary of everything that happened yesterday. But I want to start with this. Bitcoin hits an all-time high. And it's even higher this morning. It's at 94,000. We're going to 100,000. We are going to 100,000. So, yeah, 100,000. I said it. My MicroStrategy position is up 178% just in a few months. It is one that you can trade on the 4-hour algorithm. Okay, MicroStrategy is one that I am trading personally on the 4-hour algorithm. You see these buys? That's where you add to it. See where I started adding to it? It was back here in July and August. And did I have to sit through losing money? Yes. But each time it told me to buy, I just bought. I didn't get out with the 3%. I didn't get out with that 0.3%. But each time you see a line here, I bought. I added to it. I am up 178% in this. Okay? Literally, it's 178%. Why? This man. They acquired 51,780 Bitcoins for 4.6. They didn't buy the dip between November 11th and November 17th. Okay, November 11th, you could have bought MicroStrategy. Let's just say you said, you know what? I want to buy MicroStrategy because he's buying a bunch. You could have bought it. It opened at 297. Okay, we're at 461 in pre-market. Yes, it's extended. Yes, you should be nervous. But you know what doesn't make me nervous? I got the 4-hour algorithm at my thing. At my back. This makes me 2,873%. So it will tell me when to get out. Now that I've got a nice 178, probably almost 200% gain in this, when the algorithm tells me to get out, I'll get out. And then I'll just buy it back. Because I do believe in this man's mission, which is we're just going to leverage the hell out of this company, buy Bitcoin, and never sell. And then you got the Bitcoin president. I have gone over this time and time again. I believe in this one. I do. So if you want the 4-hour algorithm and you want to trade things like this, remember, we have a Black Friday sale on Trendspider right up here, the top link. And I had several people last night email me. Yes, if you have it in there are people who took this at the $545 level. They didn't get a free one-on-one session. For $4 more a month, go to the enhanced. You get at least one free training session. So while the Black Friday sale is going on, for $4 a month, get that one free training session. If you have it in your budget, go to the advanced. And the reason is down here, it's unlimited one-on-one training. Unlimited. So think of it this way. for what? Let's see, $23 a month. Say you do one training session per week. That's 4. $23 divided by 4, it's less than $6 per 1 hour training session. What trainer is charging you $6? And you're just going to do it for, and this gets you 1 year. 1 year of service. Remember, it's the Gary bundle, and you can see it in the newsletter. I put the Gary bundle in. It is the Black Friday deal for a Trendspider, and then it's the Black Friday deal for the Seeking Alpha bundle. We'll go over a bunch of Seeking Alpha stuff, okay? This comes with Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks. You can get both of them. So we'll go over everything, but it's all here on the link tree. Remember, the Black Friday sales are limited time, so get in there when you can. Now, guess who sponsored the NASDAQ yesterday? That's Times Square. It's Trendspider. Trendspider sponsored the NASDAQ. And you want to know why? Because they just launched their AI lab. And I'll include the link in the newsletter, but you can just go Google Trendspider AI Strategy Lab. This is game changing. Okay. Jason's going to go over it. He went over in a video. There is a call to tomorrow. You can sign up for the call. It's a live, I think it's noontime or something, but you can sign up for it. And Jason's going to be doing it live with one of their vice presidents who developed this. Essentially what this is, it basically, you train the model on what you want to do. And then it goes out there and says, okay, the hundreds of indicators that Trendspider has on this stock, trained on this model, this is the strategy that you want to take. It's for the dummies like me. Yeah, I spent 6 to 8 months building my 4-hour algorithm. The AI Strategy Lab probably can build it better and do it's like the $6 million man. We're going to rebuild you back better. And for those old people, $6 million man, it was a sitcom in the 70s. Yeah, I grew up with that stuff. But yes, it is the AI Strategy Lab. And on the Trendspider's YouTube channel, they have a video about it. So you can go watch this video. You can go see it. Once you get that, okay, if you want the AI Strategy Lab, go back to my link and sign up. Do not sign up directly from Trendspider because remember, you have to be in my affiliate program in order to get the 4-hour algorithm. If you just sign up through Trendspider and you don't use my link, you will absolutely not get it. Now, if you sign up through if you click on somebody else, remove your cookies first and then go to it works on a cookie system. So understand you need to click on my link in order to get it. I'm not going to send you my 4-hour algorithm if you're under somebody else's program. So make sure you're doing it the right way. And sorry about that, but you know what? This is my moneymaker. It's not just this pretty face. My 4-hour algorithm is the moneymaker. Okay, this is Alpha Picks. We had an Alpha Picks stock yesterday that they told us to sell. If you don't know what Alpha Picks is, it is a simple process. Okay, when they buy on the 1st and the 15th of each month. The buy criteria needs to be a strong buy in the quant for 75 days. A U.S. common equity, it's not a REIT. 3-month average market capitalization of $500 million. Has a stock price of greater than $10. Has not been recommended in the past 1 year. Okay, they break that last rule. Sometimes they break it. They do add to positions. We just had one, I think, on the 1st. It was another add to the position. When they sell, and this is the key point, when they sell, the rating falls to sell or strong sell. That's the quant rating. So if you get Alpha Picks, you don't get the quant rating for every stock. That's Seeking Alpha Premium. What do you get when you get Alpha Picks? You get just this portfolio. And this is a set and forget it portfolio. It is literally a set and forget it portfolio. But I will argue the reason it's set and forget it and why I do it is because you make 173% versus the same time period the S&P makes 55%. And again, it's very much a set and forget it. Because they only tell you once every so often to sell and you get an email. Okay, and this is when they sell. If a stock's position reaches 15% of the portfolio, it will be reduced to 10% to avoid concentration risk. The proceeds will be distributed on an equal weighted basis among other holdings in the portfolio. So the sale that we got yesterday, you're supposed to distribute that across the entire portfolio. I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm just going to hold that cash back and use it on the pick on the second, because the first is a Sunday. They're going to give us the second day. But it is literally the easiest portfolio to implement. You don't have to do a damn thing. And it's for this price, you save $140. For this price, get it. It hasn't been this price ever. $359. It is unbelievable if you want just alpha picks. But I would urge you, the better deal is just to go with Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks, because that's how you get the value, because then you can see the quant rating for every stock that they cover. So again, Alpha Picks, I'll put more of that. I will put, okay, let me just put it this way. We're going to go. The one on the 15th that they just picked, it's up 7% since they picked it. The one on the 1st, November 1st, it's up 15% since they picked it. The one on the 10th of, or the 15th of October, it's up 25% since they picked it. The one on the 1st of October, it's up 38% since they picked it. The one on September 15th, that's up 27%. Then one on September 1st, that's up 24%. You go all the way back to August 15th in order to have a negative. And FYI, that's Zeta. They picked Zeta. It's down 9%. That one's coming back. Okay, and then on the 1st of August, that one's up 1%. On the 15th of July, it's up 15%. I am going to include all of those in the newsletter, so sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. It is the simplest portfolio to go over. Okay, before we go over the biggest move of the day, I'm going to move you over here, and we're going to look at the Qs. I think I brought it up, but I want to bring up 5 things to do in your retirement account before the end of the year. So the first is maximize your 401k contribution. If you've got a 401k at your company and you're not putting in money, okay, say they match 3% up to 6%. You better be putting 6% into that's free money you're giving away. So cut your expenses back, live a little bit leaner, but make sure you're getting that match. And again, remember the contributions to your 401k and your IRA. These are things that you want for long term. You have until December 31st to make all of these contributions. So if you have to max out your last paycheck and not take a paycheck in December, do it. That's what I used to do. Dip into your emergency fund and just make sure that those things are in there. Think about maximizing your IRA contributions. Remember, I'll put the limits in there. The limits went up. So if you're 50 years or older like me, you can do $8,000 this year. Now with IRAs, you do have until tax day to actually do it. So you don't have to do it by the end of the year, but just make sure you're maximizing that. Review your beneficiary designations. That's key, because if you, for some unfortunate reason, you pass away, you want to make sure it's going to the right people, that's allocated, blah, blah. You don't want to get in a mess. Think about a Roth conversion. If you're younger, okay, if you're younger than 40 or even younger than 50, think about a Roth conversion, because you can do a backdoor. Contact your broker, contact a professional to do this, because there are tax implications and there are processes to do this. But think about a Roth conversion. You'll pay the taxes now. I would argue with the deficit that we have, you're going to have to raise taxes. They're going to have to raise taxes. Trump isn't going to, taxes or inflation, one or the other. It's going to happen. So think about a Roth conversion. The upside of a Roth is that you're paying the taxes on the way in. When you take it out, you don't have taxes, and you get to take it out early at 59.5. So if you're thinking about retiring early, it makes sense to have either a huge brokerage account that you can live on, which I have, or a significant Roth account, which you can start taking out at 59.5, which I also have. And consider, if you have a child, consider opening them a Roth. The greatest thing you can do for your kid is to consistently contribute to a Roth, so that at 59.5, they don't even have to think about it. They'll retire as a millionaire. If you start putting money in when they're like 7 or 8 years old, they're going to have that money. Put it in there. Because again, the taxes for that kid, next to nothing. Next to nothing. It's a custodial. Again, contact your broker. So those are 5 things to do before the end of the year in your retirement account. Now, biggest stock movers of today. Keys gained 8% on their earnings. Shares of Dolby Laboratories surged 14%. These are ones I never mentioned. One that I do mention, POWL. POWL plunged 14%. I'm going to go over this one when we get to earnings, because I did put it in the newsletter that I was heavily concerned about one thing. And I mentioned it yesterday. When somebody asked me about POWL in pre-market, I said, go check out FinViz. And it's in FinViz. And I look at this all the time, and I pointed it out in the newsletter on the weekend for the paid subscribers. So it's not like I didn't tell people. I just didn't want to, there's got to be a benefit to being a paid subscriber, and that's it. This is a great list. I found this one actually pretty conclusive. It's JP Morgan's analyst focus list, growth, income, value, short ideas. And it's got a great list of targets and stocks that you may want to think about. The upside to their current target, that's the income idea and the short idea. So this is an interesting list. If you have Seeking Alpha, I would urge you, take a look at that list because I really liked it. Now, one that I mentioned yesterday was Lemonade. Okay, Lemonade, and I posted this yesterday on Twitter, and I said I'll give my thoughts about it today. If you remember, I said I think Lemonade. We did the analysis. We went to the virtual analysis of Lemonade in Seeking Alpha, and I said Lemonade was probably a short squeeze, and we can just go and look at it because the valuation just makes no sense. And this virtual analyst report points it out. Valuation, it appears with a price book to ratio of 4.31, slightly higher than the sector median. Slightly higher, it's 4 times higher, indicating a costly stock. Similar, its price to sales exceeds the sector median of 3.29. Now, its growth, it's unbelievable growth. They're doing really well. Profitability, they suck. The net income margin of minus 44%. The net income margin in the sector is 22%. They're losing 44%. They lose like $170,000 per employee. The momentum is fantastic. The revisions, the recent trend in earnings revision is positive. 5 up, 3 downward, 8 up on revenue, and none downward. So it was a mixed bag. But what stuck out to me was this short interest right here. And so as the stock opened, and I can look at this again today, but as the stock opened yesterday, you saw it gain confirmation. Okay, it's above that 9-day. And when you lose confirmation, you sell. That gives you a nice 11% gain in 2 hours. Now, if you're willing to sit there and look at charts, it's 2 hours. You could write into Trendspider, you could write something that says, hey, alert me when this one loses confirmation on a 5-minute chart. And when you do that, it will send you an alert, whether it's text, whether it's something. But see, the market has taken this one up again. I think we're in a short squeeze. And I think that's the same thing that's going on with MicroStrategy. I think it's a short squeeze. And I think it's continuing to go up in a short squeeze. And I'm not getting out until that short squeeze rug gets pulled. But when the rug gets pulled, maybe I come back down to this 50-day, 277, big deal. I'm in it like 100. So, again, you want to know what stocks you're buying, why you're buying them. But I said yesterday, hey, this is a great move, and you could have traded, you could have held on to it. I necessarily, Lemonade's a different one. If I was getting in Lemonade, just the valuation doesn't make sense. The strategy of MicroStrategy is completely different than theirs, so I like it. Now, C3 AI, they shot up 24% yesterday. Microsoft had their annual day insight, I think is Ignite conference. So yeah, it's a huge conference. They had this. C3 AI shot up after they announced a partnership with Microsoft. I still don't like C3 AI. I think this particular stock has been stuck in just limbo. I mean, it pops up here, and we can look at a weekly. But look, the 200-day just popped up there, and you're seeing it's negative. And the 50 days just moving, it's just sideways. I don't like this one, but on news like that, it's going to pop. So I thought that was interesting. Another interesting one that we'll look at the chart of. This is Scott something. I forget his last name, but from Stock Market Mentor. And he does a great, like at the end of the day, he puts out a couple of stock, like a 2-minute stock portfolio thing. It's not portfolio, but it's just the chart of the day. And this one I thought was interesting. And I'm going to look at CORZ because this one has a chart that is unbelievable in the 4-hour algorithm, okay? Even if you bought 10 months ago when this IPO'd, you're up 195%. Now, the algorithm gets you in and out over 10 months. It's 8 positions, okay? You win 185%. Something like this, I might take that. But if we go and look at CORZ, I had never heard of this one. It's CORZ Scientific. I think it's got to do with a crypto. I think it's a miner or something. But if you look at this one year to date, it's up 1,035%. Okay, that's a crazy, crazy one. 1,035%. That's nuts. Short interest, 10%. So I think this one's interesting. I think Scott said it well. I think if you want to invest in that one, I would watch Stock Market Mentor. He did a great job of looking at that chart yesterday. Now, Microsoft, it is one of my largest holdings. They released this thing called Windows 365 Link. It is essentially a kind of copy of the Mac Mini, except the Mac Mini comes with great hardware. This Microsoft Link, the Windows 365 Link, it comes with mediocre hardware, but it runs everything in the cloud. So literally, this is doing none of the compute. It's all computed in the cloud. So this is a dummy box. And so it didn't need a ton of hardware. It doesn't have a ton of storage. You do everything in the cloud. And so they're going to charge you like $299, $399 or something like that. And then in order to use this, it's a $28 a month fee. And so I looked at that. And then I looked at my Mac Mini that comes in at $599 for a base Mac Mini. And I thought Apple's killing it. Why would you pay $28 per month when you could just buy a Mac Mini and you could go in the cloud? You can go in the cloud if you want to, but you've got all the software that you need. You don't have to pay a damn thing and have all the Apple software that you need because Apple software is just as good. So I don't get Microsoft. I am still heavily invested in Microsoft, but I am happy that the largest purchase that I have, the largest position that I have in my portfolio is Apple because I think they're clamoring their way again. Windows is trying to make themselves relevant to the business community. I think they've done it with cheap PCs, but I think Apple's knocking on that door. And I think that $599 mini, I think that's a better value than any of the Dell machines where you have to pay your Windows license every year. I think the Apple Mini is the new small, medium business, just superpower. And I think that's a great, because it will last 5 to 6 years. You can put Apple in every one of your desks. I just think that that's an untapped resource. And I think you're going to start to see that type of thing come about. Now, Amit yesterday, here's the full recap of everything that happened you can read this. And it's just everything that happened yesterday. Elon Musk made new statements about the Optimus robot. That's bullish for Tesla. Robinhood entered into an agreement to buy Trade PMR. That's bullish for Robinhood. Bitcoin hit an all-time high. That's IBIT. IBIT started introducing options on IBIT. Housing starts fell by 3%. That's not good. MicroStrategy reached an all-time high of 449. They bought 70,000 Bitcoin. That's great for them. They also announced that Michael Saylor will appear in front of the Microsoft board. This is why you want to hold Microsoft, because they may take a portion of their cash balance and invest it in Bitcoin. Palantir went up 3%, just shy of its all-time high. I still think that you pull that one back. Walmart killed it on their earnings. Walmart is now outperforming Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, Meta, and Amazon year to date. It's up 63% as of yesterday. Needham initiated coverage of EVOL. NVDiA has their earnings today. President-elect Trump is reportedly planning to ease fuel efficiency for Ford and GM. That's great. The DOJ is reporting trying to break up Google. Google's pissed. President-elect Trump is considering Teresa Gooden, a securities lawyer and blockchain advocate, to replace Gary Gensler at the SEC. Guess what that's great for? That's great for Bitcoin. I've said it before. He's the Bitcoin president. So I saw this yesterday. Ken Griffin is bullish on uranium stocks. So am I. And that's what Trendspider posted. And they posted CCJ, which is up 23%, SRUUF, which is up 9%, NXC, UESC. And then I said, you know what? I want to find something about nuclear. And I found this article. Investment opportunities in SMRs, the future of nuclear power. And this one points out some great investments in SMRs. So they bring up SMR, they bring up ACLO, BWXT. There's other ones in here. They bring up a uranium ETF. I thought this was a great article. If you're interested in that, nuclear is a good theme. I think, again, I think it plays into that AI theme. And I've said it's a GLP-1 and an AI market. And GLP-1 has been taken off the table because of RFK. And that one's still in limbo. But it's still an AI market. So now let's talk about POWL. We're getting into earnings. Just FYI, I thought that POWL would pull back, and it's down 13%. Now let's take a look at the chart first, and then I'll show you what I saw. So what I see in this chart, this 4-hour chart, is the algorithm got you out with 5%. Okay, we're seeing a dip down there. We're seeing it kind of button hook. We're seeing it lost confirmation, and we're seeing that green line. Okay, that green line is a trend line on the weekly, and you see it. If that green line comes through there, it's just, we need to get back to reality. This one's trading at wide open Bollinger Bands. The MACD on a weekly is just super high, and the RSI is at 65. And I told you yesterday, I wanted to leave this for the paid newsletter subscribers, but I told you yesterday, go and look at POWL on Seeking Alpha. Finviz. And take a look at the bottom. And I told you specifically, go to the bottom. And what do you see? You see the 10 Thomas Powell selling, not a small amount. This is millions and millions of dollars. Okay? It's millions and millions of dollars. If we go to Powell and we just look at the market cap, it's a $3.75 billion market cap. And he's selling that hundreds of million, maybe 100 million, maybe, this year, it's probably close to 100 million. I don't know exactly how much, but that's the value that he's selling, that these people are selling. And they're all selling it up here. Okay. This Thomas Powell just sold November 8th. He sold about $3 million worth. Proposed sale, $20 million. So he's going to start selling more. You're going to see downward pressure on this. So am I selling? What am I doing? I said to the paid members of the newsletter, I'm not doing a damn thing. You know why? It's an alpha pick. That's why I'm in that portfolio. I do think I'm overweighted, pal, but I'm waiting for those guys to tell me to sell. And so it's a no-brainer. So even though they missed, even though they're down 13%, and I said, here, go into the Wall Street ratings, they say it's a buy, but their average price target is $194. You're trading at $312. In pre-market now, it's $270. It's at least a little more realistic. Now, you only have 2 analysts that cover this thing. So take that with a grain of salt. When you go up here to Finviz and you look at the last time somebody rated this thing, it was 2022. So take that with a grain of salt. It's a small cap company. And if you're overweight in that one, I'm sorry, but there's no reason to be in that one. And when you see those big sellers, you want to get out. And so if you're trading that one, you want to get out. If it's an alpha pick, you want to stay in. When you bought that one, that's why I say when you buy it, you've got to know what you're going to do with it. Now, Target. I went over Target in the paid newsletter as well. What did I say? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't shop there anymore. I shop at Walmart. We saw Walmart killed it yesterday. Walmart is down in pre-market about 0.14. But Target in pre-market is down 17%. I did mention that on this weekly, I thought your upside was to 173, that it could pump up there. But I would trade it looking at the earnings. I wouldn't trade it before the earnings. I would watch the earnings, and if it comes out bad, don't buy it. If it comes out good, I think you could play it up to that 173. That's the guidance I gave to the paid newsletter subscribers. I thought Target needed more time to go back to where they were. I just don't shop there anymore. And the CEO said today, their shoppers are more selective. They're not spending as much. And it brought the rest of retail down. So you got Walmart. Actually, Walmart's up now. You got Costco down 0.5%. I would take the opportunity to buy the dip on those two. If you want to add to either one of those, I think you could add to those two. So, let's be honest. The big earnings of the day, you do have Palo Alto Networks. You do have Snowflake. I covered both of those in the paid newsletter. We expect to this is Dan Ives. We expect to drop the mic moment from NVIDIA tomorrow night as the godfather of AI, Jensen and company, are the only game in town with $1 trillion of AI CapEx on the way. With NVIDIA's GPUs, the new oil and gold in this world, we believe 2 billion beat 2 billion guide higher. That would be huge. That would be enormous. Now, did you get NVIDIA under 140 a couple days ago? Because if not, don't buy it here. If you want to buy and hold it, go ahead. But I don't think that, look at the opportunities in this one. It trades higher on the earnings or it trades lower. I don't know which way it's going to go. The valuation of this one is nuts, is absolutely crazy. Okay, it's not because the valuation is too high at 51 times forward earnings. That's not bad because your PEG, when you factor in growth, it's only 1.45. That's not bad at all. It's the market cap. The market cap of this one is $3.6 trillion. I think it's $180 per share. It gets to $4 trillion. This would be the first company to $4 trillion. Okay, we can go over here to FinViz. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the screener. And I'm going to say, okay, what do I want to look at? I want to look at the S&P 500. And what do I want to look at? I want to look at market cap. I'm going to sort it by market cap. And so when you look at that, NVIDIA is the number one market cap company, followed by Apple, followed by Microsoft, followed by both Googles, by the way. Both Googles. I don't think that they added up. I think that market cap is just both symbols put together. But again, they would be the first $4 trillion company. That's hard to imagine. So what do you expect for NVIDIA earnings? This article goes through it. I don't think anybody knows what to expect. I think you may see some profit taking like we did the last time. But I agree with Jim Cramer. Remember, number one rule is don't trust a douche on the internet with stocks. Number two rule is don't trust Jim Cramer. I do on this one. That guy has minted, and he said it the other night. He said he's minted more millionaires and more people who have early retired when they started buying NVIDIA when he named his dog NVIDIA. Now, he doesn't beat the S&P, his investment club, and you will get blocked if you bring that up to him directly. I know from experience, you will get blocked if you bring that up directly. But the reality of it is, this particular company and Apple, he has been so right on. I don't know how to trade this one. The algorithm trades it at 604% return, but if you buy and hold, you make 791%. So I've always thought that this one is one to just buy and hold. My average share price on this is somewhere in like the 80s. Maybe the 70s. So I'm sitting perfectly fine with this. If this one pulls back, I'm not worried about losing money because I just lost opportunity money, not actual money. I'm in the green in this one. I will continue to stay in the green because there's no way they're saying, you know what, we're not shipping Blackwell chips, and boom, it goes back down to 70. They may have a delay. They may say some overheating problems, but this one, in my mind, I think it's a beat and raise. And the only thing that you can't see in the market is the expectation of this. And I think with that valuation, you're not seeing it. Look, Wall Street, their average price target is 161. That's 10% up from here. So why don't I suggest buying it? Because if you didn't buy it 2 days ago when it was under 140, why are you going to buy it now? And so that would be my guidance to you. You have to ask yourself, why didn't you buy this under 100? Why didn't you buy it at 120? Why didn't you buy this at 130? So it's not me telling you don't buy it. It's you telling yourself, why am I getting into this? Remember if I told you months ago, I told you it's not about upgrading the data centers to AI. This company is about upgrading data centers, period. They're taking the old data centers and it's a $1 trillion opportunity upgrade cycle. That's not including the new data centers that will be brought online in order to support AI. This is just upgrading the current ones. So the revenue within NVIDIA is so good. Now, there was a report yesterday that AMD chips actually beat NVIDIA in a Stanford a data center competition or something. So do they have dominance right now? Yes. Does AMD need to catch up? Absolutely. So for now, it's kind of like Palo Alto Networks. They report today. The reason I'm in Palo Alto Networks, it's the largest cybersecurity company out there. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't think I need to go into any more. Let's go into the social requests. Okay. Hey, Gary, I'm interested in your thoughts on Block Square. It's caught my attention because of the very similar accumulation pattern that was shown in 2018, 2020, before it's run to the 200s. I'm not expecting Square to reach those same highs as it was most likely contributed to COVID, but I do think it's threatening to go on a run once it overcomes the $90 resistance on a weekly candle. And that's the key. That's the key. For me, I got out of Square. The reason, because you look at this weekly, okay, right here, and we're just going to put a line at 90, okay? We'll put it at $90. Let's see. It's going to go to $90.04. What do you see? You see 2018, it dinged off. You see 2020, right before COVID, it dinged off. And then boom, it shot up. And then what do you see in 2023 when it came back? It 90. What do you see here in 2023 in July? 90. What do you see here in March? 90. What do you see today? It's trading at 92. But it hasn't closed above there. I would much rather see you buy when it gets to the 200-day at 112 than to see you buy at 92 and have it pump back down to 40. And it does. This is crypto. I do think that this one is a good stock. Am I in it? No. Because I bought MicroStrategy, I bought iBit, I put my money into other places in crypto. Do I want it here? No. We can look at the valuation of this thing. I just think that they're in competition with every other fintech company. Now, the Quant says it's a strong buy. Your valuation, 26, that's not crazy. Your PEG ratio, 0.66. So if you're right, you're right. Revisions, there's 19 up and 14 down. That's where you're losing me. Do I think that this is going back to 180? No. Do I think that MicroStrategy goes to 500? Yeah, I do. Do I think that Bitcoin goes to 100,000? Yeah. Value the risk. And if you use Square, if you use Cash App, then that's one thing. I don't necessarily use them all that much. I use Venmo. I use Venmo a lot more than I use Cash App. So Shane, I would say, it's your choice. I don't think there's a bad play in this one, but I do think that $90 to $92 range, I think that's going to provide some resistance. Now, if it can get back up to that and go up to 142, I think you're good, but I think that 200-day might provide some resistance. So you got to look at your upside. From YouTube, I am Squidward, big fan. Is SMCI too expensive? Squidward, first off, welcome to Dryland. That's a SpongeBob reference, by the way, Squidward. Is it too expensive? No. But it's not about the value of SMCI. What you're buying in SMCI is you're buying into a company where Ernst & Young said, we're not going to release that. We're not going to release, you guys are doing something illegal. We're not going to sign off as auditors. And you know what? We effing quit. And so then you get a company called BDO, which if you ever watch golf tournaments, BDO is like one of the main commercials on there. I don't even know what they do, but they start saying, hey, we're auditors. We do this. BDO's going in. And BDO hasn't mentioned anything. All SMCI said is, hey, we hired BDO. And BDO agreed to work with them. What if BDO comes back and says, you know what, we're not signing off on it. Or BDO tells SMCI, we agree with Ernst & Young. You've got to release it this way. And then they redo all of their financials. Because remember, the reason SMCI was delisted before is because of these auditing problems. So you're not buying based on valuation. The valuation's not bad, but the valuation isn't what you're buying on, because this could easily go back up to 35 or 40 if they release something, but it could easily go back down to 10. So in my mind, the risk isn't worth it. I don't think it has anything to do with the valuation, because you can see that's an A+. You know, they're trading super cheap, but is it worth it? And that's what you trade it. Find a strategy that works and trade it, but don't own that one. That would be my guidance. From email, Vincent Castro. Gary, I listen to your podcast every day. I want to thank you for all the work. I have a small portfolio, but getting interested in stocks as I hear you in my car every day. By the way, he's from Portugal. I have been looking on the internet a lot about this subject, but want to know if it's possible for you to make a video explaining fundamentals of a stock and go more in depth and explain what you look for when searching for stocks, aka not day trading. Thanks for all you do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is where Seeking Alpha Premium comes in. Say you take Apple. I mean, we'll just take my largest position, Apple. It gives you these 5 factors, okay? It's valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and revisions. I also want to make a point to people that this is part of Seeking Alpha Premium. If you have a smaller portfolio, do not get FOMO and think that you need to pay for tools, okay? You don't. I didn't pay for tools until 2020. Here's the story. Up until 2020, I used free tools. I used Active Trader Pro. I used Thinkorswim. I used FinViz, and I used other tools for finding valuation and things of that sort. It was just a way that I was able to manage my portfolio, and I was super successful at it. You can be too. You don't need to pay for tools. But what happened in 2020 was I retired from my job in January 2020, January 31st. And if you remember, that was the start of COVID. I lost 40% of my portfolio within weeks. Now, I had charts, but I didn't really know how to read charts. I looked at the charts and I said, you know what? This is going to come back. Something's going to happen. We're going to come back. Apple can't go down 50%, and not come back. They're still selling stuff. So I wanted tools that would help me understand stuff easily. And then as we went on in 2020, you started to see opportunities. So I needed to take advantage of those opportunities. So I started using Trendspider. And that's where I developed the 4-hour algorithm. And that's where I said, okay, I can trade on this one easily. Maybe I don't trade every stock in my portfolio based on the 4-hour algorithm, but I can find entries. And if I look at a 4-hour algorithm and it gets me out, and then I go to a weekly candle and it looks weak, what can we look at? We can look at Boeing. Okay, Boeing's a good example. I took it out of the core portfolio, but Boeing's a great example. You can look at the 4-hour algorithm and yeah, it's going down. But we could have said, hey, at this point where it was here, I think it's going to bounce up there, and it did. It bounced up there. Okay, but if we go and we look at a weekly chart, we can see that Boeing has some systemic problems. And so that 4-hour algorithm, when it tells me to get out, when I see that it's not working, that it's actually losing me money over the past 24 months, at that point in time, I say there's something broken about this stock, and I can make a better determination of whether I want to stay in that stock. Now, my answer is very clear. I'll put it in the newsletter, but it's find good companies with good products, good profits, and good management. And I explain what each of those mean to me. The quant does that same thing. It just does it in a much better fashion. So it's a matter of finding those things out through the free tools. And there's nothing that I can tell you. PE valuation. I'm going to look at PE. But what I also did was put this in. Okay, this is an Investopedia. This should be your encyclopedia for all of everything that you need to know. Investopedia has it. And this is the fundamental analysis, principal types, and how to use it. Am I an expert in it? No, absolutely not. You don't. The only thing that matters in a stock is price. You can look up valuation. Palantir is a great example. The fundamentals of Palantir make no sense. So don't let it keep you out of a great company. Okay? That's my difference, is that with the charts and with fundamental analysis, I think you can be successful. It's never going to find you the big winners. You've got to do that on your own, and you've got to believe. A couple of people said to me before I started recording, I'm nervous about MicroStrategy. Diamond hands. I mean, buy and hold for if you don't have a strategy that works, buy and hold. Find good companies with good products, with good profit and good management, and you will do okay. Even with 40% downturns. You know, we can look at NVDiA, and I said it to the paid newsletter subscribers. I said, this is one that I'm just going to buy and hold. And yes, back in 2018, you had a 52% downturn. Back here in November 2021, you had a 66% downturn. Okay, this was the start of tariffs, by the way, with Trump. So if you don't think that tariffs are going to hurt NVIDIA, you're crazy. But yeah, this, again, if you want a long-term, don't even look at a 4-hour. If you're not day trading, you don't even need to look at a daily. Look at a weekly and a monthly chart and trade stocks on that. Just make sure the chart is bottom left to upper right, and then go look at the fundamentals, because the only thing that matters in a stock is the price. That's it. So WCred, Gary, can you have a look at VRT and see what you think of their business? I don't need to look at it. I mean, VRT soars at all-time high after outlining strong strategy growth. It's a strong buy from Wall Street. The quant still has it as a hold. I am still in this one. The quant says it's a hold because of the valuation. And it's the valuation that's an F. It's expensive, but their PEG ratio is 1.45. Everything else is an A. Wall Street says this one's a strong buy. 16 analysts, average price target 138. Do I think it needs some pullback? Absolutely. Am I looking to get rid of this one? No. I mean, it's a super strong business. I've looked at this one. I think I cut half of mine at 109, but I still have 50% of my position. Have I added back in? No. I should have at 118. I should have, but I put it into MicroStrategy. I mean, that's where you got to have some cash. You got to have some portfolio management skills. MicroStrategy the upside of MicroStrategy was much bigger than VRT. And do I think VRT is still a good cut? Absolutely. Their dividend's coming up. I don't think that they have a huge dividend though. Let's see. Dividend is, 0.07. It's 5% shorted. But, again, this one has run up so much. Am I buying into it now? No, I'm not. I'm waiting for a pullback, and then I can get back into it. And look, you can use this virtual analyst report. I don't need to, again, WCred, you could just go in there and this tells it like it is. These virtual analyst reports are phenomenal. But yeah, it surged up yesterday. It was up, I think it was up, let's say. Over the past 5 days, it's up 16%. So am I nervous about it? Nah. I'll play it on the 4-hour algorithm. 4-hour algorithm makes me 432%. Buying and holding makes me 815%. That's why I got out of 50% of it when it told me to sell at that 32% gain. Because I made 32%. And I was like, you know what? I'm pulling out 50% of my position. I don't think it's done. I made the right choice. I kept in it. When you look at a weekly on this one, it just looks super strong. Look how the Bollinger Band cinched up right there. What happened the last time they cinched up? Back in 2023. It was trading at $12. It ran all the way up to 102. And then it pulled back to 63. This entire time, I was adding to it, and I just wound up getting it at a higher price. So I've done well on that one. It's not, it's not a super big position. It's an average position. But yeah, there's that one. So let's talk about scans. Only a couple. And I'm not sure if Trendspider was giving me some issues this morning on some scans, but the first one is Tesla. Now you don't see it entered here on the screen. And the reason you don't see it is because we're already in at 256. It just got you in again at 340. So it tells you, hey, we think it's going to go for another bullish run. Is it? I don't know. I mean, I do think that we get back to that 400. So the high market 341, I think Elon's doing great with this one. I think he rolled the dice with Trump. I think he wins. So that's one that in the core portfolio. Another one in the core portfolio that we have, Qualcomm. This one has seen a pullback. We saw it push up there to those 190s on that weekly, and then it pulled back. And the 200 days moving negative. The 50 days starting to move negative. Would I get into this one? No. I get into NVIDIA. The one company that I would buy chips for is NVIDIA. And that's it. I'm not buying any other chips. I don't own AMD. I don't own Qualcomm. I don't think I own any other chips. NVIDIA's it. I own SOXL because I think that Q4 is going to be good for SOXL. And I do think that SOXL benefits from NVIDIA's earnings today. But you can see we've broken down past that trend line. That trend line that we had, we broke past it. And so I probably should be selling because we're on the downside of that one. But it's a small position. I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars. It's not a huge amount for me. Even if this goes to zero, I'm not poor. So, and you have a Bitcoin one, BTCZ, which is the 2 times leveraged Bitcoin ETF. Now it's on futures, so I don't expect this one to be good. 2 times long Bitcoin daily ETF. It's on futures, and so it just doesn't trade well. But it's in the crypto watch list, so it's there. Okay, NVIDIA. Remember, I will be live today on Substack, so look out for that email. Join the newsletter. Remember that the Black Friday sales are going on. Trendspider, you only have a couple more days on this one, and then it goes down. And then once November's over, it's done. It's done. So don't wait on Trendspider. Seeking Alpha sale, you've got a couple of days on this one, but don't wait on it. This one, I don't think that the price goes up. They don't do a great job of communicating to me exactly. So get the price while you can. I don't know if it goes up or not. But if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. People, how do you get my email? It's over here. Just email me. Don't call me. Again, don't be creepy. But, you can get the email right there. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.